Are you like me, totally sucking at coming up with good hooks when it comes to write YouTube videos, titles, Twitters, Instagram posts? Do you also know someone who's been at it for 200 years? Newspapers. What if we could let ChatGPT analyze current news headlines to give us a template or formula on how to write good hooks? But someone might say ChatGPT is trained on stuff from 2021-ish. That is not up to date. We need a way to feed current headlines into ChatGPT or OAI. We need a plugin. Newsapi.org is such a news source and also totally free for this application. Can we make a plugin from that one? Let's first test the newsapi.org. It is so simple that we can directly use curl on it. The answer comes back as JSON, and after a bit of text formatting, it's easy to read. So all we need is a country code as input. Then we need to lift all title strings from the list of answers and combine them into one string that is later fed back into the ChatGPT API by OAI. Time to write a plugin. Can it be done in under 3 minutes, you think? Challenge accepted. We start off by copying the class template in the functions directory. Then, starting from the bottom, we define the function heading, name and parameter list. Here, we call it getHeadlines, just with one parameter, the country code. News API can only handle a limited number of country codes, so we need to check the country codes given against the allowed ones, and I copied this list from the News API documentation page. I also recommend keeping your API key in a separate file called .env, and this is to keep them private. I enter in a function who reads it from this file when initiating the object, and after that it is internally available to the object as self.api key. Then we define the URL for the GET request. We concatenate a string using the base URL of newsapi.org. Then we add some parameters to this GET call. First, country equals country code, page size equals 40, and API key as self.api key. The default page size is usually 20, but for this application I think it would be good to jank it up as high as we can, say 40. Then we are ready to use the requests library to make that API call and get the response back into the resp variable. When we get it, we reinterpret it into a JSON format called re. If we get any results, we can start parsing the JSON and extracting the titles from all listed articles. Finally, we just join those lists of strings into one string and then return that back to ChatGPT or OAI. And this concludes the function. Moving on up, we need to write a description in JSON so that ChatGPT can understand when to call our function and how. This is the self.functions part of the object in it. Here we will fill in the name and description and declare the only required method parameter, country code, of type string. Finally, don't forget to name the class as such. Here I call it News API. And with that, the plugin is done. 58 rows of Python. Did we make it in time? Now let's test the Python class right quick. We jump into a normal Python interpreter. Import the class, create an object, and print what is returned from one call. It looks perfect. Now, if you're interested in Python coding and OAI plugins, then do subscribe. I have a lot more fun coming. Now that the plugin file is in the OAI functions directory, let's try it out with OAI. OAI.f, top headlines, and then the prompt. Analyze these headlines. List common structures and what makes them compelling, using the country code US. Now, what do we say about this answer? A. Celebrities. B. Timely events, urgency. C. Statistical or technical information. D. Curiosity, as in teasers, questions, speculations, and all of these often in combination. It actually sounds quite a lot what you usually can read about what a hook should contain. So is this useful to us? Well, I guess we just need to test this out on titles, intros, and social posts. We can also try to tweak the prompt, and we can also try different countries other than the US. The British, for instance. So to conclude, in under 3 minutes, we can get an analysis on how to write good hooks based on news headlines. This is the power of OAI. And this is just the beginning. Comment below on what plugin you would like to see and what you would like to use it for. More info on the OAI tool and how to use it in the suggested playlist. I'll see you in there.